Welcome back to part 3, and in this part we're going to be looking at everything from here down. So I'm just giving it a little wobble, and I can tell that it is very solid in the pot, so I can tip it over and we can cut that anchor wire, and I know everything's going to be fine. So let's see how it comes out of the pot. It is quite loose, so that's pretty good. And muster up the strength. There we go. Well, actually came out really well. They don't always come out that easily, but it's nice when they do. Here I am having a close look. Do you remember back in part 1 when I said that it is not the most beautiful start of a bonsai, but it is very intriguing. It is interesting. There's lots of lumps and bumps, and there's nooks and crannies, and that's great because actually lots of old trees have all of these features. The only thing is, to me, it's a little bit confusing. So what we're going to do is we are going to simplify it. So before we start teasing out the roots and looking at that, we're going to simplify the start of the bonsai and see what we can do to make it a little bit more elegant and less confusing. First things first, we're going to take down the whole of the soil surface, carefully work it away with the chopstick, and we're going to undermine all of the big surface roots, expose those, see exactly what's going on just beneath the soil, and then we'll clean them up and work out what we can do to simplify all of this. Looks great though, doesn't it? I love that bit of shape there. And this root coming around here, see what we can do with that. It's great. I like it. It's sort of died back a little bit. In fact, I think the whole root is dead, but hey, old trees have dead roots, dead branches, bits of dead trunk. It's brilliant being down here, actually. It looks great up there. Makes me want to go climbing. I'd love to stand chat underneath this magnificent larch, but there's a very big man coming and he's got a very big stick. This is great. I love this. It's kind of like digging for buried treasure, trying to find that ultimate root structure, that ultimate shape down there. It's a bit of a challenge. I find it quite exciting. Perhaps I need to get out a bit more. Oh well. I think that's as far as I need to go at the moment. So what I'm going to do now is to take it outside and give it all a good wash off with a hose pipe. We can really see what's going on around this area now. All we have to do now is to figure out how we can simplify it, sort out these sort of odd roots, these sticking up roots. This root comes across here and it kind of, this one sort of knuckles over it, so we've got this kind of scenario going on here. This is a good root here, it's very healthy, and there's still quite a lot of life in this, and this is quite a nice start. This is quite interesting around here, and a little bit of a lump around here. So this is interesting. I do quite like this. This root here, which is actually dead, I think is the one that's causing the biggest problem. The way it comes across on top of this bit here. And there's quite a lot of interesting roots and root structure going on in there. So I think I'm going to remove this bit here. This is quite a nice root because obviously it comes from this side of the bonsai. Balances up a little bit. It needs to thicken up, obviously. But what we're going to do is to reshape it. We've got to bring this down and bring this around. So I'm going to work out a way to do that. That definitely looks better. So a few of these roots we've managed to change. Pull this one down, that looks much nicer. This one's still sticking up. I've brought it around a little bit and just anchored it down here. We will bring it down a bit more, but what I need to do first of all is to carry on now teasing out the actual root ball and teasing out underneath. At the moment we still haven't touched any of the sides or underneath, so we're going to do that now. And then once I've done that and I can see where I can actually anchor this down sort of through the soil and underneath, and see if I can attach it to another root underneath. I'm going to try and pull it down and around and underneath the root ball so that it's out of sight. The next thing then, back to the old chopstick, teasing out. Actually, it's time for a cup of tea. There we go. That's good. Right, so we'll have a good tidy up now, get it nice and clean. Then we'll get the pot, get it prepped, and then we can get the tree back into some nice fresh soil. Before we can actually pot the tree, obviously what we've got to do is finish sorting out this root. Have a look underneath, see what we can do, see if we can pull it around and anchor it down a bit better. So with a reasonably thick wire, about a 3.5 mil I should think, put a hook on one end, which I can then just hook over the root, squash that root down, holding it with one hand, and bend the wire underneath the root ball, up and out the other side, and just push it down, pull it through, make sure it's nice and tight, and then I can just fold it over and And just cut that excess bit off, and there we go. And that holds it really nice and firm. And this is a technique I've used many times, very easy to do, and works really well. I'm just going to try the tree in the pot, make sure that it's the right height and it's not leaning one way or the other. Make sure that it sort of fits in the pot. All right, we've taken off enough root, enough space for the next few years. Well, that sits in there really nicely. Right. Quick check, make sure it's not leaning. This looks good. That's good. Okay, so that's good trial. I know it's going to fit. Now what I'll do is to fit the ankle wires into the root ball, back in, and then we can put some soil on the roots. I'm just going to just carefully, again, to the back. Now, I'm going to need to put the wire through down here, so I'm just going to make a little bit of a hole. Just when the root ball gets the middle of the root ball, it can get quite solid. Because the wire is quite set in from the root ball, I didn't want to just bring it around because that wouldn't really tie in very well. So, making a hole there, get the wire ready. Because once I take the stick out, it's very easy to lose sight of where the hole actually is. And that goes through like that. And we'll do the other side. Somewhere. There we go. I want to make sure that the main trunk is not leaning one way or the other. Because it's such a straight trunk, I know it changes up here, but the main trunk is very straight. And it's important that it doesn't lean because the whole tree is just very upright. That looks good. And the height in the pot. So the start of the bonsai is actually going to be here. So once we've got the fresh soil in, some of these roots will disappear. We'll be left with just a few nice old craggy ones at the top. So we want to make sure that the start of the bonsai is at least level with or slightly above some of this pot. We don't want the start of the tree to be too low, and we don't want it too high. And that looks good. So I'm just going to work out a route for this wire. Go through that one. So there you have it, the larch. It makes a superb bonsai. It's easy to care for, and it's good for beginners as well. Not only because it's easy to care for, but because it grows reasonably quickly, which I think is lovely for beginners, because you kind of always want it to see some results fairly quickly. And because it does grow quite quickly, you can train it in the shape and get some nice looking bonsai at fairly young age. So that's good. It has lovely bark, lovely twigs. It twigs up nicely, so you can get some nice proportions and get some nice details on here. And because we can prune it to shape, prune it fairly hard, and we can wire it to shape as well, we can get lots of different styles. We can train it into all sorts of styles, which is great. You can have some real fun with that. It's very beautiful, and I love the fact that when the spring comes and the buds start to open and you get those leaves coming out, that to me is absolutely magic. Always look forward to that. So yeah, the larch is superb. Now, I mentioned in part 1 that we'd talk about some of the tools that I've been using. They are just mainly general bonsai tools, and for people who've been growing bonsai for a while, or even if you're new to it, you're probably you probably know what most of these are. So we've got some concave cutters here. You saw me using these just to cut into the trunk there. Obviously you can use them on the branches as well. Give you a nice dish-shaped cut so that the tree can heel over nicely. And on one of them I actually used the gouge. Now this is just a wood gouge. You can buy it from anywhere that sells woodworking tools for carving and things like that. And the reason why I use this sometimes is that I find that if I use these, the dish is not quite deep enough. And in certain places, so when I was doing the one opposite here, I didn't even want it to, as the tree heals, I didn't want the scar to sort of stick out a little bit. I wanted to keep it as flat as possible, so it didn't form a lump. So that's why I gouged it out a little bit to deepen that, that cut, so that when the tree starts to heal, that sort of scarring effect rolls into the dish, and then as it heals it will become nice and flat. So that's why I used the gouge. So we've got the side branch cutters. Those are nice for cutting, so to keep an angle like that, if we wanted to take a shoot, we cut that so the cut is the same angle as the shoot that we want to leave. And I'll do more videos about tools and how to use them. I'm sure there's loads on the internet anyway. I use big chunky shears for the roots. Long scissors like this, which are great for getting, especially for a tree like this, for getting deep into the center of the bonsai. A trusty brush, and of course chopstick. Wire cutters and gym pliers. They're all just a basic bonsai toolkit, different sizes. If you're just starting out, I would only go for medium sizes. So there we have it. If you do want to know anything else about the tools, just drop us a comment and I can answer those. And like I said, I'll do loads more videos on all of these things, and more pruning and wiring, all these different techniques. So keep watching out for those. So please subscribe and don't miss any more. I think actually what I might do is, this is part 3, the repotting one. I might do another one. I might do a part 4. How about we come back in the springtime and we look at these buds and we take some close-ups and we sort of study that. That'll be good. Maybe do a bit of pruning on the new shoots. So we'll put that in as number 4, as part 4. So keep a lookout for that. Sometime It's coming up to the end of January now, so March time, depends on the weather. The weather's all over the place at the moment. So we'll just see how it goes. As soon as it starts to bud up, we'll get it back in the studio and make another video. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed all of the videos. And we'll just do a quick look, shall we? Certainly been a big change from the beginning. Take care.